Hello everyone, Grim here, and as I've promised, here's the second part of the 10 things Let It Die could improve on. If you've missed the first half, click here. Go see that video first before watching this one. Don't worry, I'll wait here until you do. I'm not really going anywhere. So as I've mentioned before, this will be a lengthy video, so let's get started. Number 6. A particular mechanic I would like to see revamped is the expedition function. As it stands, this part of the game functions as follows. You can send your spare fighters to chase a random player who is around your level for a set number of hours. Depending on where they meet and a few other parameters, you will be given a bunch of rewards, ranging from kill coins, lithium, and other non-raw material items. In the perspective of the attacked, you will replace the hater of that floor with your fighter, but with a red name tag. The hunted can either fight the hunter off, run away, or die to them. The outcome of this hunt also has an effect on what you will receive after they come back. And I think the class of your hunter also matters. First and foremost, I would like to take this opportunity to say that this game mechanic is very vague in terms of what affects the drops that you get from the expeditions. It almost seems pointless to send fighters who are wearing gear, since the gear level of the fighter you send doesn't really affect the rewards you get from them. As far as the community is concerned, the length of how long you send out the fighter doesn't affect the amount of drops you get either, so there's really no point in sending out fighters for 24 hours. With that being said, I would like to scrap the whole system. Don't get me wrong, but I would still like to send out fighters in expeditions, but I think a huge rework has to be done before that. With that being said, let me start with the need to give high tier gears to your hunters. I think that there should be a system that rewards you for sending out high quality hunters to expeditions, tougher ones and ones that could possibly fend for themselves within the tower. I know, it makes the climb even harder for people in the tower who gets hit by these hunters, but hear me out. What if the other players are not the only ones you can hunt down, but rather everything else in the Tower of Barbs, like screamers, haters, other hunters possibly, or bosses? It is an expedition after all. What I'm thinking is the expedition mechanic similar to that of Fallout Shelters. In that game, you can send out your dwellers to the wasteland. How tough they are and what gear and consumables they bring along with them would determine how well they would do. You can send them out as long as you want and call them back whenever you want, but the time it takes for them to come back is equal to half of the duration the expedition ran for. As they travel, they encounter different scenarios like enemies or item pickups. You'll be given a log of what they've encountered so far, and you can check on their health every now and then. There's still the danger of them dying, so leaving them to continue in the expedition would result in everything they've found to be lost. So with that being said, I would like to pattern Let It Die's expedition like that. You can send out hunters in an indefinite amount of time, and depending on the gear level they have and the consumables they've brought along with them, they would either survive the expedition or perish within the Tower of Barbs, but still return to you. Now I think that they should only be able to encounter other players if their gear level is marginally more or less than that of the hunters. The longer the expedition goes, the more valuable the things they pick up becomes. Maybe they can even add material pickups to be obtainable through this. As time progresses, however, the expedition grows more and more dangerous. Perhaps they can even meet the floor 100 version of Gunkanyama at some point. When they die, maybe they could lose half of what they've gathered so far and would automatically make their way back to the waiting room, requiring half of the duration their expedition ran. For further incentive to leave your base unguarded by sending out hunters, maybe they could make new weekly quests that involves the expedition mechanic, like have your fighters go through a total of 50 encounters, or kill another player through these expeditions, or spend a total of 10 hours exploring the tower through expeditions. In the hunted side, however, perhaps they could even create a new set of weekly quests revolving around killing these hunters or evading them. Maybe they could even create decals and equipment blueprints that could only be obtainable through hunting and being hunted. So you may ask, why I want to see these changes made in the current system? Well, as I've said, I wanted to incentivize sending powerful fighters in the Tower of Barbs. I think that allowing your fighters to roam around the Tower of Barbs indefinitely can motivate the players to prepare their fighters as much as they can for the randomness the tower has to offer. If this is implemented, we will no longer see naked hunters, which the community constantly advocates. Don't get me wrong, it helps out the players who are struggling with the game with an easy hater for the floor, but as a veteran player, I would like to experience some reason to fear the floor when I see the notification that a hunter has been sent to kill me. Another reason why I thought implementing this would be a good idea is that because, as it stands right now, the expedition system has the set it and forget it attitude, where you receive items for simply sending out fighters to hunt other players. With this expedition system, the players would have to constantly monitor the status of their fighters and gauge whether they should pull back their fighters from the expedition with the fear of losing half of the things they found, or risk keeping them there for an even greater haul when you finally call them back. I've also made sure that the new system would be fair if it is actually implemented, because the hunters may only encounter players climbing the Tower of Barbs who are close to their total equipment level. This means that if you go material hunting on the lower floors, you will no longer be surprised by assault rifle haters who only need to land a single shot in order to kill you because you were doing a naked run. If you wish to attract these hunters, however, just explore the tower with whatever gear you regularly use, and these hunters will randomly appear in your session who would be an even match to your fighter. I wanted these specific changes to manifest in the game because personally, I don't really receive a lot of hunters, and when I do, they're usually naked. I think it's because the current system allows the players to select who they want to pursue. If we leave it to the system to match our hunters with the appropriate climbers, I think we'll see more hunters invading our climb, which are an equal match to our fighters. One other reason I can think of for wanting this change is that the implementation of this feature could open up the game for some new alternative of obtaining death bags or possibly low tier materials. It's also nice to finally find some use for some decals which only affect hunter stats. Lastly, I think this change would push people to be more receptive to making use of the expedition system of the game, because personally, as it stands, it's not very appealing to me, so I don't really use it myself. Well, that was long, but I did tell you that it would be a mouthful. I didn't expect that I'd have to cut it there, but I simply can't condense my thoughts on this matter any further. Bright side is, there's gonna be a continuation for this series for you guys to look forward to. Downside is, it's gonna be up after an indefinite period of time. You know what? I'll just stop making this a part of a top 10 thing and just make it its own series. Because it kinda feels off that I said number 6 in the beginning when there's only one item in this video. The last video I uploaded was around 3 weeks ago, and you may ask, Grim, why did it take so long? Well, to that I say it's because I procrastinated. Well anyways, as always, if you've enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and if you have thoughts you would like to add in relation to these changes, feel free to tell me in the comments below. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.